Going to the toilet. Going to the toilets. The UK.
Well, I've done that before. I quite enjoy it, quite frankly. I had a glorious urination on Thursday. It was a beautiful arc. It was wonderful.
Have you ever managed? You ever managed to piss over a bus shelter? Get the arc.
No, I've never managed that. Although when I do need to go pee, right? I have a thing in my head. Sorry. I replayed the scene from Star Trek 2 when Reliant, first comes up to the Enterprise, right? And they're like, they're indicating their cores are overheated. So that bit. And like I time it, so by the time I start peeing the screen, it's exactly when Khan goes fire.
Everybody, can you tell Charlotte's not here today?
Oh, bring him! I'll say that. That's a big fun.
This is the level of movie appreciation we've now sunken to, Ian. Comparing urinal tracts to films throughout the years. Ian's thinking, God, have I agreed to come back to this 7 days on? It's amazing what you can agree to, isn't it? After
Hi, Ian.
Right.
Hello. You all right, Chris? How are you?
Define all right.
Well,
okay.
No worse than normal.
What natural disaster is going on in your country today?
We've actually got thunder in the background. The same thing as the last time we were on. So that's fun. It was almost freezing this week after like a heat warning the week before. The bums are still pooping in my my backyard behind the shed. The weeds did not deter them. Go Canada.
Did they lose a match? Because I don't watch football, but I know they were playing. Did they lose? Canada? Anybody?
Everybody except the U.S. is losing.
In my country, it's we're like we're the
I have no idea.
Ralph
Did
they
get knocked out yet?
Literally.
England did well apparently because I don't watch it. My brother does though. Yeah,
that's the soccer game.
Yeah, well, football. Yeah,
isn't football the one where they throw the ball?
No, it's the one where they kick the ball. The one where they actually hold the ball in their hand and run around like it's rugby. That's called football. No, that can't be called football.
That's football.
There's Aussie rules football and there's American football.
I can happily say I've only sat through one football game on the TV. It was New Year's Day, 1995, and I had I could go over what I drank the night before, but that would take the entire stream. And the remote control was not near where I was sitting, and the TV was on, and I couldn't move because I thought I was going to die. And it happened to be on a TV station playing football, so I sat through the entire game. I don't know what was more painful. So I haven't seen a football game in 31 years. Yay me.
Do you know, the reason why I hate football? This is a true story. I think I've said this on a couple of live streams. Reason why I hate it is because when I was young, there only used to be 3 channels on TV, right? And every year they used to show the FA Cup on BBC. Yeah. And at that moment in time, ITV never used to have the license to show the FA Cup. And ITV used to show a film so they can combat the FA Cup. And it was always Sinbad in the Eye of a Tiger or Golden Voyage of Sinbad. And my dumb family wanted to watch football, and I couldn't see those films. That's why I hate football.
Doctor, before you go, one question.
Yes?
Where in the galaxy is Sanusi?
Show us your tits and I'll tell you.
I want to go back to the 70s. That gets awesome.
I want my time machine. I want to go. I don't give me the brutalist architecture and the terrible bell bottoms and the brown everything. I am a toxic old man, and I belong in the 70s. Now, if we were the age we are right now in the 70s, we would be dead now, which is a good thing. Means that we never would have experienced the woke era. I envy people that were our age in the 70s because they never got to witness society go to total shit.
Say it loud.
True.
We're toxic and proud. That's the.
Just go back to James Bond for a second. Did anybody
No.
Did anybody read the James Bond comics from like the woke period?
No, nobody
they were
read
the worst
comics from the
comics
woke
I've ever
period.
seen
That's
in
why
my
the
life.
comic book industry is dead.
Yeah, no,
He's
like
right.
James Bond was cupped by a stunning and brave black woman. Oh God, they are the worst comics I've ever read in my life. I can't believe how bad they are.
And it hasn't stopped either. In most films you watch these days, they got a little bit of woke in them. I hate to use that word, woke in them. And I'm pretty sure that we're going to be talking about a certain film that we were supposed to watch.
I suffered last night. I'm not going to say
Oh
what
my
I suffered
God.
for, but you may have
my
read
God.
my post on X and the fact that I am no longer friends with Dan over what he made me watch last night. But we'll find out later.
I didn't watch everything. What were you supposed to watch?
Well, we're going to come to it in a little while. We're looking at a specific Netflix movie later on once we've talked about a couple more things and at a general chat. But I'm not sure I should take the blame for this. I blame Miss Charlotte Shields, who, of course, isn't here right now, from when we gathered together last week to talk about Doctor Who and all sorts of abstract subjects, which we're sort of doing again this time by way of various other things, because this is Type 40 Extra. It's video exclusive content with me, Dan Hadley, Birmingham's King of the Geeks, and this guest panel on Rumble and on YouTube. We have Ian David Dears, who's back as well. I wasn't sure whether it was your idea or Charlotte's idea to watch said film, Ian. I can't quite remember.
I just looked at what it is. Thank God I didn't watch it.
It was Charlotte's.
We've got the rabbi from another planet who has skipped his homework this time, and maybe that could be a good thing. I don't know. We've got Gary Akers, the retro doc, and of course the one and only, the mighty Bowles Trek, who used to be a friend of mine, and I'm not sure what to win him over again.
Dan.
With the passage.
That was a horrible experience. Like my Sony TV is now in fear.
Chris, you survived Starfleet Academy. You can survive.
This TV, it survived the Whittaker and Dr. Nutty era. It survived Starfleet Academy. It survived Batwoman, but it was in danger last night. It was in danger for its life. Jesus Christ.
We have you guys should do watch parties. There's massive BJ.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Maybe we should. I've suggested us do that a few times. We should probably do that.
And Rabbi, not the types of movies that you would pick.
I haven't seen porn since the 80s, okay? Let's be
we will take it as serious.
Anytime I get close to porn today, I'm like terrified. Yeah, listen, attractive people wearing makeup and lingerie, having sex, yes, that's sexy. Two fat lesbians pissing on each other, not so much. I'm not into that. Right? Porn is just weird today.
So, on behalf of the Spacebook YouTube channel, I would like to cancel Rabbi for being fat and piss phobic. We do not condone that type of behavior at the Spacebook YouTube channel. Rabbi is a dirty man, and there is nothing wrong with fat people peeing on each other. Now, we don't necessarily have to agree with
you guys are being Dan's worst nightmare today.
Yeah.
Put down, everybody. Put down. I mean, I've got like, we could always do the watch parties. We could work our way through the Sydney Sweeney filmography. That's an idea. Or we could do various sort of Star Trek and Doctor Who.
I can't watch that with other people. I'm sorry. I watch Sydney Sweeney on my own with a box of tissues and some Vaseline.
Well, says the person who never watches naughty movies.
90-minute movie takes him all weekend, everybody. This is meant to be our after show, before show, and in between show. Basically, whatever we need it to be between live streams and podcasts and other things, with a cluster of like-minded. I was going to say like-minded. I'm not sure I'm exactly like-minded with the Rabbi, but we are there. We're more often there.
Wait. You like lesbians, fat lesbians pissing on each other porn?
Oh no,
that's what you want.
I'm talking
Rabbi,
about...
don't kink shame people. If Dan liked fat lesbians peeing on each other, that's Dan's own.
It is. I'm just saying it should be done in the privacy.
I will not be shamed for my kink, Rabbi.
Once upon a time, she was supposed to do Barbarella. I want to know what happened to that.
Yeah, what happened? Got lost in the posts. That's what we
No,
want.
Look, Charlotte's in the
Come
chat.
back.
Send her a link.
I know what happened. What happened was they were trying their best to try and turn it woke, but they couldn't figure it out because you know what Barbarella's about. So they probably just dropped it, didn't they?
Oh.
So.
And Sydney Sweeney has no problem being very attractive. I mean, like, she has no problem being sexual.
You like? I know the scenes you like in The Housemaid. It does have some very, very nice Sydney Sweeney scenes.
I haven't
recommend.
seen it.
And Rabbi, this is a case for 4K because you can watch that in 4K.
Oh, I've got
quality.
good news for you. That reminds me. Here, let me turn my camera back on. Look at this. Old Faithful hard drive died this week. You kept saying hard drives are going to die. This one died this week. So
I told you what happens. What happens when you put everything on a hard drive and you say, "Oh no, physical media is yucky and for deviants." I told you this drive failure. I'll take
okay, everything was on this. I got it. Nothing's gone.
Physical media here. We do not put things on hard drives.
Okay, the only Sydney Sweeney thing I've actually seen is Euphoria, and I didn't expect to like it, and it was freaking awesome. It is absolutely.
What about Madam
Huge
Web?
recommend. Huge recommend.
Well, Rabbi, nothing is going to beat that 5-minute video where she demolished that woke demon on that interview that she gave.
One thing does.
Yeah.
Her ad for her lingerie line is the greatest single video ever made.
So says the person who just said he hasn't watched naughty videos in decades.
I haven't.
You lied. Those are naughty.
Okay, wait.
Just because it's officially sanctioned doesn't mean it's not naughty.
Chris.
We're going to have to dial down the naughtiness a little because even though she's not here, we are still being watched. Charlotte is in the live chat, everybody. I think she's heard everything we said. Hello, everyone. Just for the record, I didn't suggest this movie, but that's what we'll talk about. It was all their idea. Well, there we are. And we've got another comment here. Bill Silver says that Charlotte's smile and wisdom are sorely missed tonight.
Yes, they are. Bill Silver's correct.
Smile now and again. I mean, I can manage as much of a smile, Gary, as anybody can who lives in Britain right now.
You know what, Charlotte, you know that I love and regard Charlotte, but she makes this suggestion, and then she gets one of the Roger Moore Saint halos over her head, and it's like, oh, it wasn't me, but it might have been. It might have been. It might have been.
Was it Ian? What's his name? Ogilvy.
Ian Ogilvy.
That was Return of the Saint.
To me, baby.
That was
Ian Ogilvy. Russell T Davies is in the live chat again this time, joining us. Hiya, boss. I hope it's Hi,
Russell. How's it going, buddy? I hear things are going just great. I am so happy for you, you wanker.
He's all right. He's sucking it all up, isn't he? He's denying everything and stuff like that. As I said,
Rabbi, he was out for a real, Ian, with David Tennant and his wife Georgia, his own partner Oliver, and the actress and comedian Arabella Weir from The Fast Show, who was David Tennant's longtime friend. So they were all out on a meal the other night, and the photographs for that were everywhere. So it was all very, very nauseous. But Russell T Davies is promising or threatening to return in the live chat there. So we won't hold you to that, Russell. You enjoy your sort of semi-retirement or whatever. Do whatever you need to. And Matthew Butterfield says, they got me blushing there with my kink was revealed after all. And Peter Wingard was in Flash Gordon. You're correct, Adrian James. He was indeed. We didn't see him, but he was there.
He played Clytus.
He did. We have a fair bit to talk about, but we are bringing everybody up to speed with what they may have missed as we're winding down all talk of the Doctor Who cancellation. Now, speaking of Russell T Davies, we're at the TARDIS here, a familiar police box-like shape, but this time the TARDIS has materialised at Wetherby Police Station in Leeds, West Yorkshire, and this got me thinking because although it was very much demanded by Change.org that Russell T Davies face arrest. Therefore, his crimes against television, against Doctor Who, and against, all things that are British, really, as far as I can see, Russell. He should be ashamed of himself. That was actually withdrawn. Chris, from Change.org. They've taken that down. But you do have a choice, Chris. It's up to you, obviously, the toss of a coin between registering your name and address to vote for this one, to urge the BBC to air a Doctor Who Christmas special after all this year. So that's on its way up. But on the inside track closely now is this one. Keep Doctor Who off the air. So if you want to bookmark those, and then depending on how you feel when you wake up in the morning, you know.
This could actually be very good for Rabbi. I'm like, he gave Russell the perfect idea. I'm like, the fat lesbians peeing on each other. I'm like, we had snowballing in the last one, so why not?
Oh, I believe that was scene 16 in the Christmas special.
Probably.
I'm glad they're not making a Christmas special, though. I really am. I think if Russell T came back, we'd have had more of the same, which we don't really want.
Would.
So there you go. Yeah.
Well, they'll say that on that podcast. The everything else is entertainment, or everything else.
Oh, I hate. You know what? I hate that podcast, right? Because I hate it when they have podcasts that's professional, because they never say what you're supposed to say. They dance around the subject. Like those two really drove me crazy when I was watching that. Why don't they say it was freaking woke? Why didn't they say that? No, because the girl with the bent nose, she's friends with Russell T, right? That so annoys me. I'm like, why? You're so biased. Just say, look, the reason why it failed was because of the woke and had two men kissing and the doctor was black. Why didn't they mention any of that nonsense? Why didn't they mention any of that nonsense? It so annoys me. Those people... they annoy me. Anyway, sorry.
That crowd is a total delusion. You tell anybody it's because it was like weird queer Doctor Who that wasn't very good and nobody liked. They're like, no, there's no evidence that it being queer it made it fail. No, not at all. What about it was queer and it failed?
Another thing. Sorry,
my favorite.
Another thing,
Rabbi. Well, this lines up with something you were saying. My favorite is when they say, "Go woke, go broke." Is there any evidence to support that being a thing?
Yeah.
Star Wars has lost 85% of its audience. 85%.
It's so annoying, those two, right? Because they would say everything but what was really wrong with Doctor Who, and then they went on. They went, yeah, all the fans are saying it's cancelled, and it's like, no, it's not cancelled. It's just been put out on Tinder. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what? What are you talking about? It means they've stopped employing people. Yeah. They've taken down sets. They fired Shooty. How cancelled can it be? Do you know what I mean? You stupid bearded twat. You stupid bent nose. Yeah, it's so annoying. I'm never going to watch that show over again.
The rest is entertainment. We're meant to take it seriously, and they're meant to be meeting us halfway because they've got microphones now, and they're sitting around a little table in a small studio, not a giant. The fact that the small studio is actually in a massive studio, and it's got just as much money behind it as a great deal of the rest of the mainstream media. It's mainstream people LARPing as us when we see that. Vanessa Feltz is doing it. Davina McCall is even doing it. Even Ant and Dec have got a fucking podcast. What do those two clowns need a podcast for? They're on everything all the time anyway. There's lots of them. Any minute now, Rylan will have one. Heaven knows when he'll have time to record one, but you can bet he'll probably turn up on one. But we're now nearly 10 days in a week and a half into living in this new world, in a Doctor Who-less world, after over 2 decades of the thing being largely in continuous production. And some people have been reduced to tears. Do you not feel for them, the people who've learnt this lesson the hard way?
No, I don't feel for them because they keep ignoring the fact that the reason why it was failed is because of all this nonsense they put into Doctor Who. And you say that this is the first time Doctor Who is non-existent. No, I say Doctor Who finished when Bacaldi said, "Doctor, I'll let you go." That's when Doctor Who finished. Everything else after that is bollocks. That's not Doctor Who. All of it, right? So they can go and screw off, all of them. Anyway. There's nothing like Doctor Who to make me really pissed off. Do you know what I mean? These people are just all twats.
You say that, but I think Star Trek might be pretty close behind. So we're going to be getting into Star Trek as well on this one. Even though the guy here on the left in the picture we're looking at on screen now may wear a familiar face, that of an incarnation of that character that we most of us loved, or at the very least tolerated. This guy with the extra stubble and the extra hair product just turned into a bit of a sap, really, and so all of this is sort of bundled up together, and you know that nobody could have really been more generous towards it than I have been. I always say what I enjoy and what I don't, without fear or favour. Really, I'm pretty honest about this stuff. But largely, we can sort of group it all together as being a total and utter cluster. And the fallout continues. The fallout continues this week. So it's been a very hectic 10, 12 days to look at anything in genre, really. Even though I think there's evidence that cinema is recovering, particularly certain genres like horror doing very, very well. As regards sci-fi and fantasy, it's happening in fits and starts. And the green shoots that are showing elsewhere, I think it'll be a while before it makes its way through to the BBC. This update of theirs, this is starting to look like itself a sort of an exercise in expectation and feedback management. Tell them as little as possible, as late as you possibly can, and then hope they shut up, at least for a few months. And then we can just spin them any other kind of nonsensical yarn, because it's amazing what those arseholes will accept. And we can just keep going to the dinner parties and bide our time and do whatever. Even if we've got nothing going on ever, nothing recorded, nothing being written, nobody cast, we can still tell them that something is on the way. There was that initial announcement, of course, that, get your stuff, basically. Just hands off Doctor Who, everybody. We're not making any more of it, but tough. And even though we told you we would, also, again, tough. Russell T Davies, he waffled on for a little while before flicking us collectively the V's. But this week, since we last spoke, we do have this from the next to intolerable Peter McTighe, who's really getting on everybody's tits, I think. He seems somewhat hyper. And I'm happy for him if he's happy, I suppose. What does he know that we don't? I think I'm past caring. But, Chris, there's been so many quotes over the last week filling up the mainstream, and people running defence for Russell. Russell himself speaking to Gadio in that interview, insisting that it hasn't been cancelled. And then last weekend, Stephen Moffat also running defence for Russell. I've got a lot of time for Stephen Moffat, but here he was making sure that nobody got out of pocket. And yet the special effects guy on Doctor Who, who's been the special effects guy on Doctor Who since it came back, he was not in two minds at all about what was happening. This show has been cancelled. So in my view, actually, it's starting to become far clearer with the passage of time, but their yeah is increasing. It's being turned up to 11, I feel.
Oh, yeah. They still want their show back. It is done, and I am of the mind that I never want to see this show come back, ever. It doesn't deserve to come back. You can't treat your fans like that and ever come back. Well, they treated the 15 fans they actually liked well, and they were catering to them for a decade. So I say good riddance. We'll still have the classic series and the Matt Smith era, which is the only era I'm willing to acknowledge. For Dr. Nutty and Dr. Nasty, you know what? They must be so jealous at Matt Smith.
I want him to. I want Doctor Who to come back, though. I want it to come back. I really do. And again, right? Not with these people. I mean, Pete McTighe, he's probably been lined up to carry the series forward if they find someone to take on the production of Doctor Who. But I don't think any production company would, because they don't own the IP and they'll only be getting money to actually make it. And I don't know if any production company would do that. So. Look, I want it to come back, but maybe you're right. It shouldn't come back. I don't know. I would say give us something new. This show has been around for 6 decades. It had a great run up until about 10 years ago. But give us something new. The damage that they've done to this show is mind-boggling when you come to think of it. There's nothing that they haven't wrecked at this point. They need to correct it.
But I do, when you look at all the failures that came after, especially David Tennant. So, David, over on this side of the pond, nobody has any idea who you are. Your era wasn't even the popular era over here. So it must suck to know that Matt Smith, who has nothing to do with the show, to the point where Big Finish had to recast him, or Karen Gillan, who I guarantee will probably have nothing to do with the show, and I believe she has been recast as well. you know, they were popular over here. You know, nobody knows who David Tennant is. Everybody knows who Matt Smith is. He's that guy on that show they used to like that went to crap, and he's that blonde dude on that other show about the dragons.
I just been rewatching that. I've just finished season 1 because season 3 starting on Monday, I think.
I think it's funny, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, actually, I won't say the entire Stephen Moffat run because it went to complete crap during Capaldi. But this was back when I was still able to rewatch. RTD1 has aged terribly, and I'm somebody who will say I used to love this era. I find it completely unwatchable now because you cannot unsee what you saw when they brought it back, and you can see where they wanted to go with this thing all along. I think the Stephen Moffat era, specifically Matt Smith era, I think he is the best Doctor. It was the best written. It was the best shot. It looks unique. It was done on the same budget as RTD1, but for some reason, you know, looks a million times better. And there's only a year in between the two of them. Technology. There was no wokeness in that era. There was it was probably the only non-woke era of New Who. I think even before I disowned the show, watching them more than a decade from original airing, the RTD1 looked very dated right away. Matt Smith's era does not look dated. And I think also the fact that that entire cast really has had nothing to do with the show since leaving it. And they've gone on to do much bigger and better things. So give us a new show, but use that era of the show as a template. And you know what? At this point, I can actually appreciate Stephen Moffat's convoluted plot lines because everything got so dumbed down after the fact where, you know, you could be two. It's like, oh, yes, you're being very clever, Russell, you idiot. So now I'm like, I may revisit those and try and untangle what he was doing in The Wedding of River Song because nobody knows what's going on in that. But you know what? It gives us a mystery to talk about. So, yes, Matt Smith, I will give me something like that. So in 20 years, you have 3 seasons. Well, really 4 because 3 is 2 seasons. So 4 seasons and a couple specials. So in 20 years, 21 years, that's all you managed that has any degree of rewatchability. RTD1 is unwatchable now in retrospect.
Well, I don't know. I think it's worth it. Russell T Davies one is worth it because every time Billy Piper does this with I think that still works for me. I like that a lot.
I what would Parada say, Dan?
But then you know, yeah, I'll pass. Karen Giller was hotter.
I think if they bring back Doctor Who, it has to be completely different tone, a completely different thing to what's gone in the past, in my opinion. And none of this. Obviously, you got to have the right monsters in there. You got to have the Daleks. You got to have the Cybermen. Whatever. A few episodes, but create new villains. Create a new look to Doctor Who. Just be new, be original, be something else other than what Doctor Who was.
Yeah. Actually, I'll respond to this. So, hey Matt, how's it going? But no, I'm not a Moffat enthusiast. What I would say is, prior to the casting of Dr. Nutty and, you know, the complete destruction of the show during the end of the Whittaker era, I for the first time in a few years, I'd rewatched the first 10 series up to the death of Capaldi and the show. Yes, same to you, Jody. Fuck off. Oh wait, I'm not going to say a bad word. Sorry, we're on the thing. I'm going to say fudge off. So fudge off, Jody. You mean lady.
You already said it. So
whoops.
You've already said it.
But what I was saying is, so right at the end of Jody, I went back and I revisited everything. And at this point, I did not hate RTD1 because RTD2 had not happened yet. This was shortly before that happened. So I was able to look at the show objectively and came away with a few conclusions back then. Now, I did not hate RTD1, but even by that point, it was very dated. It is very rooted in the mid-2000s. It could be a time capsule.
Yeah, but I hated it. I hated season 1, as Dan knows. I remember we did a retrospect of season 1, and I hate how cheap it looked. I hate the stupid Chris Eccleston trying to be funny when he wasn't. I hated most of that. There were some really good episodes, like Dalek was absolutely fucking fantastic, and there were others as well. But overall, I thought it was a horrible effort from the BBC to bring back Doctor Who. In my opinion, they should have chucked money at it, but they didn't. And there were certain things that I didn't like about the first season, but overall, though, it was okay.
Well, actually,
Ian, it had a burping trash can.
I know, that's what I hated about it. I remember, right?
I remember. I thought that was good. I'm sorry.
I remember, right? Watching McGann, the McGann film, thinking it was brilliant, and then it didn't come back for various reasons. And then when we saw that bit where Chris is running through and there's a big explosion behind him, I was like, yes, I'm there. And then when it played, I was like, what the frick is this? Do you know what I mean?
You already said
been shooting off film. What's going on? You know,
I'm vindicated in my naughty wordism because Ian said one within a minute. We're sorry to the regular viewers. We have potty mouths, but yes, actually, you're right, because I could say this: when Rose first aired, as much as I loved it, I was surprised in 2005 how cheap it looked. And I'm not gonna lie, but my opinion is I do like the I did like the Eccleston era. So when I revisited, I'm like, okay, it's good. Then I revisited Moffat, several years in between this and my previous viewing. I'm like, this is actually really good. I can I could see where he was going with this, but I'm not a Moffat enthusiast, because then I rewatched the Capaldi era, or rather I watched most of it and I've kind of gave up. Starts off brilliantly, and I don't think I've ever seen anything go off a cliff quite that badly in my life. By season 9, he's playing a completely different character. And he plays a different character yet again in season 10. And I couldn't rewatch all of season 10. I'm sorry, it's just too depressing. But it's like, what, dude, Moffat, what happened? It's like he lost his creativity. Maybe his brain fell out.
Opposite opinion to you. Like, I thought Capaldi's weakest season was his first one.
Really?
The only ones I can rewatch is Flatline and Mummy or on the Orient Express. I thought his second season, I really loved it. I loved the way he changed his character. He was older, and I think his third season, despite what's her name always saying she's gay, which good. I'm glad you're gay, darling. But I thought the quality and writing in the third season was by far the best. I love the finale. I love the Christmas special.
Well, you know why that was? You know why that was, Rabbi? The problem is, as to the Stephen Moffat era and why it is so changeable, is simply, and I think he'd probably be honest about this now. In fact, I think he's sort of alluded to it already, in that Stephen Moffat simply burnt himself out, not just working on Doctor Who, but working on Sherlock as well.
Yeah. But I still think the first Capaldi season sucked the most.
But by the time that last Sherlock episode, but what I'm saying is, by the time they get to that third one, which I agree with you, I think that feels again like he's on point again. I think that is simply because he wasn't doing 2-3 things at once. Then he could concentrate on Doctor Who, on not exactly reinventing it, but kind of retooling it a little. And I think a lot of the things that he did in that season were as much that were to keep us entertained and to inject it with new life and to move Capaldi's character on as best he could. But I also think it was to keep himself invested and amused as well by having new characters to play with in different scenarios. Because for me, it's actually season 9 that's the weaker one. That middle season, it lost me for great reams of it. I prefer season series 8, where Capaldi's like really gruff and he's got that kind of mod father look. I love that first run. But I think generally speaking, I think you can see Stephen Moffat kind of really hanging on by by his fingernails, really, to the explosion of his own career, all these options that he had at the time. Who would say no to any of them? But I think ultimately it did affect the quality of Doctor Who in particular. I think it affected Sherlock to the detriment as well, but that's another story.
Yeah, probably. Although that last Sherlock episode was so a Doctor Who story, right? When they're on the prison on the island right off the coast of England, That was the master. That was so supposed. That was the master, and it was just that would have been a great Doctor Who episode. But sadly, it became Sherlock.
I actually think that when Doctor Who comes back, if it comes back, I actually think that they might go the Sherlock route, not like a full series, but just like 3 TV movies.
Well, that's what they wanted to do with McGann.
Yeah.
I don't think the British
if the show does come back. First off, nobody that was involved with the previous iteration of the show, either in front of or behind the camera. Yes. I don't care if they were good. I don't care if they were terrible. Nobody who previously worked on the show is allowed to come back. It's the IP and the IP only. And you need to address your fan base, because your fan base is one of the reasons why a lot of people walked away, because what was going on screen was actually nowhere near as bad as to how your chosen fans were treating people online. You need to denounce that, because they were actively chasing people away. It's like, oh, okay, so this is what it's like being a Doctor Who fan. Well, I've got many other options. I'm going to go watch something else. So your elitist little YouTubers and, the chosen fans, it's like, no, Doctor Who is actually for everyone. And no fan is more important than the other, because you are the ones that are paying us our money. So we need to attract you. And you know what? If those fans went away, this would be a great show. So publicly denounce your fandom. Nobody previously allowed. You can bring back the Daleks, but not every year. Work out some other deal with the nation and the state where every 3 years or something, because I'm so sick to death of the Daleks. That's one thing out of the wokeness that's just been run into the ground. So you can bring those back, but it has to be completely new. I'm not sold on it. And it's said as a joke. Some people are serious, but I think one way of doing that is to go back to the Capaldi regeneration. Actually started from there. You'll have to explain away what happened, and this was, this is the one time where I will allow your multiverse theory. What you saw, that was another universe, and it was terrible, and you need to make sure you make many jokes at the expense of that era. I'm like, that never happened. This is where the show goes on. I am skeptical, but you could do that. But my preference is, I'm like, you've just done so much damage to the show. It's been running for so long now. I think it's time to give it a rest and try something new.
We saw this over on X this week. This is from general sort of fandom, really, and people who aren't even hardcore Doctor Who fans have been commenting, obviously, because they've noticed that Doctor Who has finally been taken out by the "Go Woke, Go Broke" meme. Not that Luke Tyrus says, so to sum up RTD's Whoniverse, nostalgia bait, Doctor Who cried too much, man fucks fish. Whoniverse ends on Kate Lethbridge-Stewart having a mentee over some litter. And it's not that far off the truth, is he? That sort of sums up 21 episodes.
Spot on, really.
That would have been a better title for the miniseries.
For this mini-series, Man Fucks Fish, the Whoniverse. As we've got this from Robert Meyer Burnett, who goes on to quote the BBC's statement himself, but then says the gauntlet has been thrown down. So who will step up to unfuck this? That's from the great RMB. A friend of yours as well. Remember we had him on the show to talk about Star Trek and various other things, and he admitted he wasn't a big fan of Doctor Who, but he sort of admired the legacy of it. But even he could see from a certain amount of distance that Doctor Who was a mercy killing, really, in some respects.
It was. It's a shame, really, because if it does come back, it'll still be under the banner of BBC, and the BBC is woke as hell. So I can't see them actually changing anything. I could see them demanding that whatever production company takes over, and when it eventually comes back, to keep the Jodie and the City Gatwick era, But
That
everybody knows.
That could totally happen. 100%.
Everybody knows that they should get rid of
the other
it.
way as well. We really don't know. Sometimes.
Well, Rabbi, I think Ian's right, which that's what they're going to do, and you're cooked. Like, let's go back to exactly why people walked away. It's like, you want to do that? I will make videos. You'll give me content, so bring it back for that. I'll have fun. But,
we've got this one, Chris, as well, from dvdfever.co.uk. I get that Doctor Who stands, I think he means fans, I get that Doctor Who stands don't want the show to rest for a decade or two, like in 1989, but the majority of viewers, including myself, really couldn't give a shit. Russell T. Davies has well and truly fucked it up the arse.
Yeah,
that's right. dvdfever.co.uk there with that pearl of wisdom. And sometimes, in all fairness, this is just not to be crude. Sometimes statements like this, just clear, short, sharp statements of fact, are really all there, because this is how people talk in the cafes, in the pubs, in the queues at the post office, over the garden fence. This is how people talk about this stuff. And we've got this from Andreas Vasvik. Seeing what has happened to Doctor Who makes me sad. The show had such an impact on my life. It used to be so good. Choosing to stop watching was a hard choice I had to make. Seeing how it's now effectively dead makes me sad. But it's what the Doctor needs. A long rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you have to keep in mind, by the time it comes back, the country will have swung massively to the right. You're going to have either Nigel Farage or Rupert Lowe as Prime Minister. And I just don't see the BBC being able to continue what they were doing without governmental support, and they won't have governmental support. It could be woke as shit. It can never stop. You're absolutely right. They can continue making it, but sometimes things aren't shitty. Sometimes things are good. Let's wait and see.
It was once upon a time, but this is current times that we live in. I want something new. Give me a new series, something that I can enjoy that's similar, has the same vibe as real Doctor Who.
Sorry.
Why?
No.
Okay, if you want to give me content, I'm all here for it. I could have a field day with this. Hello, Chibs.
Chris, do a 15-minute rant video on this.
How short people's memories can be. Earlier on, we mentioned about people who could take Doctor Who on, and I wanted to talk a little bit about this, because we talk a lot on the various strands that we do about cinema and about television, about the evolution of it, Chris, and about the phases of it, really. And there's no bigger advocate for the home media, for home cinema, than yourself, Chris, for getting the biggest screen possible. Notice that Gary's probably still got his on order. Getting the biggest screen possible and getting all the kit in and all that kind of thing. But I've been wondering now and thinking about how the BBC have sort of tripped over themselves, really stepped on that rake with getting into bed with Disney and trying to be international players and trying to constantly upscale Doctor Who. Whilst generally speaking, I like how TV has evolved. I think it did need to evolve. That evolution is natural. I'm starting to think now that some shows just don't need that sort of blockbuster sensibility. It's okay to give them more money, to pay the people who make them that little bit more, to polish it up a little bit for HD in the way that Ian was saying, so it doesn't look cheap. Things can look cheap without looking grotesque, without looking enormous. When I look at the recent TARDIS set, there was no need for that set to take up the space that it did, and as nicely designed as it was, there was actually very little imagination at play, because that's all they did. They just put together an expensive set. Okay, job done. But that wasn't. We knew that there was something missing because it had lost, in that sense, the expansion of scale. It was actually compromising the integrity of the show and making it look less like television. And I think that people want Doctor Who to look like television. I don't think they wanted to look dated,
right?
But I think they still wanted to have that kind of intimate appeal. So to think big, but you can still be small. You can still be intimate. You don't need to apologise for being a TV show. And I don't think it's just Doctor Who that suffers with that, Rabbi. I think that's something that
Star Wars, Star Trek, all of them.
Well, the TV shows that are not playing to the strengths of being in the consumer's home, of the fact that people are a few feet away from the screen rather than 8, 9, 10, 12, sometimes 20 rows back. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Well, listen, I think the TARDIS set is such a good example of everything that was wrong with RTD2. It was a massive, expensive set that was cold. It didn't connect you whatsoever. It was dull. And they all just thought it was the best thing ever because they spent a ridiculous amount of money on it. Has it been taken down yet, that set? Does anybody know?
No, it hasn't.
Really?
It's still costing them a fortune every week to keep it up.
It's going to be used as a prison rabbi. No, if you do very bad things, rather than send you to jail, they're going to lock you up in that set. And they have not cleaned it since the days of Dr. Nutty.
So you don't want to slip on
really
any of
gross
those
in
fluids
there.
on the floor.
Yeah, and
well, I would imagine, Dan, please correct me if I'm wrong, that they would keep it up to show like prospective clients, like what they're capable of as a production company.
It's the equivalent of showing somebody who's about to invest in a football club or in the Premier League. It's like taking them to an exclusive box at Wembley Stadium. That's how they will view a set like that. Yeah. It's as ridiculous as that sounds. So that will remain in place. And I'm not ruling out that actually carrying over into another production, even if it's years away, albeit with a little retooling. I don't want to speculate too much because these are earlier than early days. It's not even open for tender yet, despite what silly billies are out there claiming and saying. It's not open for tender yet. It'll be some months away until it is, and we'll see what we hear there and then. But looking at media, I was thinking, well, does anybody still make television like that anymore? Television that thinks big, that takes big creative swings in the way that sort of Buffy and Angel used to, or Babylon 5, and or even the X-Files up in Canada. Does anybody make TV like that anymore? That thinks big, but feels like TV. Then I stumbled across this on X this morning this is from Dean Devlin. You might recognize the name, people. Yeah. We'll come to that in a second. This is from Dean Devlin. So he says he's an executive, a TV executive, a director, producer, and a co-writer. So he says, the BBC is putting Doctor Who out to tender. Do you think they should partner with us at Electric Entertainment? And then he shares a video of himself walking around the old TARDIS set there, the last proper TARDIS set, which again had lots of little details, but still felt intimate. So he's there talking about it.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, Dan, that if he can do that without spending a bean doing that, just imagine the technology we have. We don't really need all that amount of money to make Doctor Who anymore. But what's stopping it is these idiots at BBC. They still want their agenda in there. They still want to tell the world that they were right and we were all wrong. The majority of us were wrong about the show, and that's why it's not going to move forward.
They're crazy.
I actually, when I saw this.
Well, who's Dean Devlin, Gary? Can you fill in some of the blanks?
Okay, yes. Well, Dean Devlin is one of the, he's been a writer, producer, director, various things in Hollywood since the 90s. He was responsible for, I think the original Stargate and all the Stargate series. For Electric Entertainment, he has been responsible for such great shows as Leverage and the Leverage spinoff,
and the movies,
the Librarians, which has a total Doctor Who feel to it, and the current continuation of the Librarians. They're in the third season, which is running now, of their show called The Ark, which is another science fiction show. So when I saw this, I was first amazed that I hadn't thought of it, but then I actually stopped short. And I thought, well, wait a minute, because I like so much, I've been a fan of so much of their product for so long that I thought, you know what, he could do it. And he could do it. He could do quality stuff that is for like all the family, like the Librarians, which is like an all ages thing.
Don't, because he doesn't understand. He is look, it has to be British. The production company that takes over has to be British to keep that British sensibility. You give it to an American, it's all of that's going to be lost. And it was lost in the Disney thing as well. The Disney thing as well. It was lost completely in that. I think the Jodie one had that a little bit of
love the Britishness of it, right?
That's what I'm saying. We have to retain the Britishness, and the only way we're going to retain that is if British people are in charge. Do not give it to an American. Do not give it to a Canadian. In my opinion, of course.
How about this, Ian? What about American? Someone like Dean Devlin as a key executive there as a godfather figure. Employ people, writers, producers, and actors who are British or sympathetic, write in that style.
No,
very
because
heavily influenced by
but Dan,
I have a point myself.
They still will have the power, and anytime they can change the actual eccentricity of Doctor Who, I pronounced that word wrong, of Doctor Who, and we want to keep that. I mean, one of the things I didn't like about the McGann movie was it lost that. It lost that kind of feel of Doctor Who, but I still enjoyed it anyway, and I got the feeling
it was there in drizzles, wasn't it? It was there
it was, yeah. I just got a feeling that if an American company or Canadian company take over, it will be gone. Like just the little things like when David Tennant was the Doctor, like mentioning having fish and chips. Do you know what I mean? And stuff like that. Having a cup of tea. Remember in the 50th when they were drinking tea at the ending of the, when everything was resolved and John Hurt. Just little things like that. If it was taken over an American company, it would not have little things like because they're not British. That's the thing. So that's just my opinion.
I didn't know electric was such a big deal. I wasn't sure what Dean Devlin was responsible for anymore. I still associate his partnership with Roland Emmerich, which, as I understand, finished some time ago.
Right, that's what I thought, like Independence
cluster of films there, Rabbi. But I have seen these shows, and Gary's absolutely right. I mean, this series, this latest version of The Librarians, this certainly looks a lot more Doctor Who than anything that Doctor Who's been doing since 2017. And when you look across to Leverage again, it's another kind of nicely made show, which is modestly budgeted, stars some British actors. There's Jane from Coupling in there. Gina Bellman is now leading the latest version of Leverage. So I think, well, he's clearly, I don't know if this makes him an Anglophile, but there's something about these shows. I think they're quirky, they're quite concept led, but they tell individual stories. And so when Gary says that the library, I've only ever seen a couple of The Librarians. It was led originally by Noah Wiley, wasn't it? And then Rebecca Romaine Stamos is her name. So, I'm not up on it 100%, but I can see that it's enduring in the same way. I haven't seen the arc, so I'd not even heard of this. This is one of what seems like a million shows on the Sci-Fi Channel that I've never caught. But I like that Dean Devlin is sort of responsible for this output, a variety of different shows, which, if you ever catch TV like this, on the Sci-Fi Channel in particular, it's often really well made. Even if it doesn't engage with me, I think, I feel like I'm watching a TV show, and I want to watch a TV show. I don't want to watch movies that have been cut up into digestible chunks, like you see with a lot of those Star Wars TV shows. I want TV to feel like TV again, and I think this.
You have to remember also, Dan. You have to remember that they're under they come from Hollywood. Well, I know they're independent, but they still have that Hollywood thing that, we've got to put DEI into it and stuff like that. And we don't want that. We've just come out of that. So if these guys take over this, you can bet your bottom dollar that they probably want a woman doctor or a black doctor or all that kind of nonsense needs to be gone. We need to go back to basics with Doctor Who. And these people are under the Hollywood system, and you know what's going to happen. I rest my case.
I agree with
Judge,
Ian's,
I rest my case.
I agree with Ian's assessment about what the show needs to be and the type of doctor we need to get. I don't automatically subscribe that because for example, the ARC, I think, is produced like in Eastern Europe. They produce these shows like all over the world and market them all over the world too. So
really?
I actually think that they probably won't consider him, because he's an American. But
so, Gary, is this the next step along from? Because we hear, and I hate to say this, but Ben Cook is absolutely right when he says this. Hello, Ben. Ben Cook is right when he says that Doctor Who hasn't been 100% a British production since 1995. Or since it came back in 2005, there's always been co-producers. And obviously, but with the show, with production actually taking place, fixed in one place, is it, not over the other side of the world or wherever? Is it possible now that we're going to see a change in that kind of culture? The next step along from us co-productions where we sort of send money. There's the BBC, for example, is a co-producer of several Australian shows and probably Canadian shows as well. So we could be evolving from that to the point where people share resources in the same way. So as you say, shows get filmed in Croatia or somewhere like that. And because looking again to to a modern show, they just cancelled that Stargate TV show. And even though that was Amazon MGM Studios, who are based in, I believe they're based in Burbank. So everything coming from there, and yet it was being made in England. It was being shot. The production office was in London. The facility they were going to be using, as I understand, they were very close to set building on this thing. It's ridiculous they pulled it when they did. It was going to be filmed, produced, shot, mostly in England and various other locations, I believe in mainland Europe as well. And yet it was technically an American show. But there have been lots of British actors in that, and I don't know about the writing team. I think it was
reason why they can't
Hero.
shoot in LA anymore because it's because of the mayor that's running LA, and there's all kinds of problems why Hollywood is dead.
Oh yeah,
at
she's
the moment.
insane.
And so this is the reason why they've come to England. But make no mistake, right? If they did make Stargate, it was going to be woke as hell, right? Make no mistake. The reason why they the reason why they cancelled it is because they couldn't figure out a way. One side wanted it to be Stargate, one side wanted it to be a new Stargate. If you get my meaning, the reason why they cancelled it. So, and obviously, I have a friend that told me that, but I don't know if it's true. Take it a pinch of salt. Blah 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 blah.
Well, as I've heard it, Ian, there was a change in the executive that were handling it at Amazon MGM Studios. New guy comes in, takes a look at the project. Why are we making this?
That was it.
Looks it all over, even though it was very close to production, and just pulls it rather than commits because he felt it wasn't right, and so he pulled it. The guy who championed it and pushed it all the way through, who'd been a fan of Stargate, and he'd installed people who worked on SG-1 and Atlantis, I believe, to spearhead it. They were working on that for 2.5 to 3 years, and one person comes in. It's kind of like Michael Grade when he became control of BBC One. One person comes in. I don't like that project. That's going.
They already had a full writers' room going for about 5 months on that.
Really? That long? I had no idea.
But like for example, also Dan, you're talking about
production.
You're talking about the international production on this. Another one they did, which I never watched. I know it was on the CW over here. They did a show called The Outpost, which was more a fantasy driven thing, and it was on like for 5 seasons. But that was filmed, I think, like in Serbia. So again, they're not filming these shows necessarily. They find the best place. Yeah, it's all money. They find the best place in the world to film. But I will say about Electric that. Because like I said, I've watched a lot of their output. I think that Devlin kind of specializes in like the high concept but character driven stories. And even on something like Leverage, you could tell there was a lot of Doctor Who fans who wrote Leverage because which was about this team of like grifters and con men who would help people against all the corporations and stuff who ripped them off, kind of like Hustle, yeah. But there was one, I'll never forget, there was one scene where they're like about to board a plane. They need to get on a plane really fast, and they're in an airport, and it's like a walk and talk scene. And they're going, okay, what kind of IDs, passports do we have? And they're looking at all the passport. He goes, well, let's see, I got a Tom Baker, I got Peter Davison, and all of this. And they just drop names like this, in scenes like that. So you can tell that they were Doctor Who fans.
Gary, right? So the Librarian, okay. Who was in the first season of that? The Librarian.
Okay, the Librarian's really super quick. It was Noah Wiley did three TV movies, and then they spun it into a series. But he wasn't a regular on every episode. The series was led by Rebecca Romaine, and then there were 3 other, like John Larroquette was kind of almost like their kind of guardian, their info man, and they had like 3 other.
The guy from ER, is it? The guy from ER.
John Larroquette was in Night Court, and he was in.
I see.
If you saw him, you'd know. Oh yeah, John Larroquette.
All right. Okay.
But then instead of just having the one librarian, they had 3, and every season was like its own individual kind of like arc, where either they fight it back against the release of magic into the world, which causes chaos, and every season was a different. And I didn't think that this spinoff would work because of how they left the show at the end of the final season. But this actually works. That's a librarian who actually accidentally gets shunted forward from, I think, the 18th century. and has to.
We're back to Austin Powers again, Rabbi.
Yeah, has to find his way in the world. The young lady on the right turns out to be like his great granddaughter, but they don't know that for most of the season. And yeah, no, it's a good show.
All right, I haven't seen it. It looks okay. Maybe I'll take
it looks
a look.
Interesting. Again, it looks like television. I'm happy to have television that looks like television again. I think that Dean Devlin's heart seems to be in the right place. I mean, regardless of what we think, whether we've heard of him or not, whether we've watched those shows or not, I like the fact it's like JMS. J. Michael Straczynski talks about this all the time. You know, that man's into his 70s now, and he's officially retired. Really, he retired to live in Britain. What a prat!
He did.
He retired to live in Britain. I don't know where he's. I don't know exactly where he's living, but he's living here now. Bad move, but I think he's adapting to the British way of life and all our various customs and things. So good luck, JMS. I hope you're settling in well, mate. Yeah. So, whilst obviously I don't think any of that is going to be successful, but I think it does open up the subject about how far television has come, and maybe it could have come too far. It's certainly morphed. I mean, Chris, we've spoken so much about how it's morphed into content, into filler, with things spun out. Netflix shows, Amazon shows that we've been enthusiastic about seeing. It only takes a couple of episodes of sort of when the story's started. You can feel the mud getting trapped in the spokes and slowing it down, and by the time you get 5 or 6 episodes in, you're thinking, how many of these have I got left? And thinking, what am I watching again, and why am I watching it? And that can be 8 hours ago you were enthusiastic about seeing this show, and now you're kind of watching it through to the end simply because you think, well, I'm here now. And I don't think television should be like that. It never was. There's no reason why it has to exist in that way.
The whole system of TV has changed, and again, I mentioned this last week, that TV as we know it is kind of dying, right? Really, really fast dying, and the next generation of people aren't going to be watching network TV. They won't have the patience to go from A to Z when they're watching an episode. They won't. All they want is the highlights of the show. So the question is, what do you do? What kind of shows do you make to actually attract the new generation of people? I don't have the answer. Somebody will, I guess.
I think quality is the most important thing, right? Which is the thing that's been lost for this entire generation. Again, I keep going back to the show Euphoria because it is quality, and that they like it, right? I think quality is always going to find an audience, and again, there just has been such little quality on TV over the last. I mean, look at Discovery.
Are you talking about story, Rabbi, or are you talking about quality of the production?
No, story. It doesn't matter. I don't think it really matters how it looks.
Yeah,
I think it matters about what it says. Look, the problem with let's take Mandalorian and Grogu, for example. It wasn't a terrible movie by any great yardstick. But the problem was it didn't have a story. A story has to have a point. Right, a story has to have something that it's trying to tell you, and that's what's really missing. And they don't know how to tell you something without hitting you over the head and it being like the most stupid, spurious idea you could possibly think of. It needs story, right? Which needs ideas, which needs intelligence, which needs people to learn to write by reading books rather than playing, Grand Theft Auto, which again is a real problem we got.
I think we don't have proper modern television.
A dearth of attuned talent and people who know how to write for television, which I think is an ideal place to put a little bit of a break here and remind us of somebody who knew that inside out. Check it out.
You were gone before we could tell you were number one. Second in a cloud of tobacco smoke. Dirty joke, you call it hope, and pulp and fluff, but it rang with the truth of radio stuff. You were gone, we never got to tell you were number one. You were cranking it out at a rapid pace, but every world felt like a real place. Your brain and your pen might have taken you high, but fate marked you for the cheap sci-fi. You were gone, we never got to tell you were number one. You were gone, we never got to tell you were number one. in a cloud of tobacco smoke. Kiss TV with a dirty joke. You called it hope and pulp and fluff, but it rang with the truth of waiter stuff. Ba, 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 ba. You were gone, never gonna tell you you were number one. Number one. Ba, 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 ba. You were gone, never gonna tell you you were number one. Number one. Number one.
Number one to number 9, calling number 9. What do you make of that then? Bob.
That was awesome. I always thought it was a real tragedy that the Director General back in the 70s, when they got rid of Philip Hinchcliffe from Doctor Who, they should have said, like, I want you to make a 9 p.m. Thursday night drama, anything you want, to Bob Holmes and Philip Hinchcliffe, something adult orientated. I think we would have had some incredible TV.
Sadly, it's TV. Decades and several ages in the past. We have been covering here at Type 40 and the Spacebook exhaustively, comprehensively, the collapse and cancellation, yes, Russell, cancellation of Doctor Who. In the wake of that update on the future of the show from the BBC, less than 2 weeks ago now, we've been picking our way through that, the various reactions, responses, and decoding what it could mean if the show even has a future of any kind. Obviously, we're Doctor Who fans, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we want it back on the screen as soon as possible. We want it back in the right way. And we just got to get bogged down, I think, with how depressing it all has been over the last 8 or 9 years, watching that show get run to the ground, and then they reverse back up a bit, and then they do it again. So it's taken its toll on us all, I think. But surely we can look to the streaming platforms for alternative content and things to watch, things to take us away on a flight of fancy, maybe. For 100 minutes, a film that is made for television that could be seen, Chris, as part of the problem. And in this instance, we've gone away to a faraway climb, courtesy of Netflix themselves, for their feature-length presentation of Office Romance. This is something that was proposed last week by an unnamed person, and our memories, we're all getting on a bit. We're all in middle age now, so we can't quite remember whose fault this was. Charlotte, she's not here, so I can say that. Oh no, she's still here. Okay, so yes, we've gathered together to cap it all off, all of this coverage, with a look at Office Romance from Netflix, and this is the synopsis of this brand new film.
Wait! Before you get into it, I haven't seen this, right? So I think I might just duck out at this point because I want to go to bed early. Did you want me to stick around for?
Stick around. I say there's not going to be spoilers, Rabbi, because all of these films, they all do the same thing. Let me tell you the synopsis, and you decide whether you want to stick around. Tell me the synopsis,
and I'll decide if I'm going to cut my wrists.
When an iron-fisted airline CEO and her charming new British lawyer break the company's strict no fraternization policy, their secret steamy affair threatens to derail both of their careers. The workaholics are a match made in corporate chaos in this steamy, raunchy, laugh-out-loud workplace rom-com featuring HR interventions and intercompany rivalries. The director is Ol Parker. I've no idea who that is. And the writers are Joe Kelly and Brett Goldstein, who also is the co-star of this, with the still phenomenal, the 76-year-old Jennifer Lopez.
No! She's 76?
No way.
She's 56.
There you go.
But, she's still got a great ass, to be fair. So here we are.
Hot.
She's terrific. And she's not an actress. I know that she's been around like 30 years or so, but I can count on the fingers of one hand the amount of films I've seen her in. And some of them are films that I've watched and she's just happened to be in them. She's never been somebody that I will watch just to see her because it's J-Lo, in the same way that there are certainly actors and actresses who I will watch practically anything that they're in, Chris. Jennifer Lopez has never been one of them for me. But the real reason why we're looking at this is because the amount of sci-fi actors... sci-fi actors and actresses that are in this thing, not least of all Brett Goldstein himself, not a name that is on anybody's lips, but he has been in Doctor Who. Here he is in 2018 in the Sunagra Conundrum. Try saying that when you've had a few pints.
Oh God, that's not Doctor Who.
So there he is.
Is he the guy from Ted Lasso?
Yes, he is.
Right. So there he is with one of the Powerpuff Girls. In this, he gets paired with Jennifer Lopez, the anaconda icon. I love that movie, and they go on a flight of fancy together. So again, this is billed as a rom-com, a steamy rom-com. You know, I don't mind this sort of fluff, Chris. In all fairness, and I know that you've got, in all seriousness, you have a wide taste in movies, don't you? So whilst I get the impression you didn't have a good time with this, I know that you like a laugh now and again. So you're not adverse to watching things that are outside of the genre and that tickle the funny bone, are you?
I do like rom-coms. I would not put this in that category. I would put this in the category of inhumane. I would like to read from a prepared statement if I shall.
Oh, God.
He's a lawyer. It works.
Last night, I learned that hell exists on Earth, meaning that I no longer have to fear hell because I have looked squarely in the face of the beast. This was one of the most painful experiences of my life, and I live in Canada. So yes, there is J-Lo being held together by duct tape and makeup, but then, oh, the treasures this brought. A few minutes into the episode, we are greeted to Fat Tilly.
It's a movie.
Character she
It's
played
a movie.
playing on Star Trek Discovery. And immediately she starts talking about her underwear and her IBS. I'm like, thank you for that, Fat Tilly. That's exactly what I want to find out. And then, then we are greeted with the sight of Raffi from Star Trek Picard, who also has come to grace us with her presence and attempts to be funny. It was not funny. It was grating. I have no teeth left. And then the really specialness was Jodie Whittaker at 44 years old, looking like a very young 60. Time has not been good to this lady, let me tell you that right now. But she is finally paying for what she did back in the year of our Lord 2018, and she spends the entire movie in jail, and she is terrifying without trying to be terrifying. But yes, so Jodie, it's been rough. So if you want to know where's the 13th Doctor now, you got your answer up there on the screen. The movie was filled with terrible jokes.
I feel there's something of the. I feel that there's something of the Andy Serkis about Jodie Whittaker in 2026.
Well, there is this thing called the karma. So yeah, I guess she does kind of look like Gollum.
Exactly.
But there is a big difference between rom-coms of the 90s. I'll just reference. I know this is one of Ian's favorite movies as well. While you were sleeping,
I love that film.
Rom-coms of the 90s. And 2000s, to be honest, or at least the first half, had heart. They had creativity. They looked like they were shot by somebody that actually cared. You believed these characters. This looked beyond flat. The acting was flat. The leading man was a complete wiener.
All bonus points for wiener. Like that.
It's it was just, and I have to be honest, I did not finish this. I think there was like 20 minutes left, and I just had to turn it off. I'm like, I can't watch this anymore. And it's what is the movie that
Blasphemer?
No, I didn't. I was going to gouge my eyes out. And the Sony X700 or X800E TV was put in danger, as I said earlier, and I did not want to make my TV suffer through this. These end the same way.
But you don't know how it ended.
I don't care. Yes, I do know how it ended. They all end the same way. An annoyance and things that would never happen in the real world. And who directed this? It was directed like a corporate HR video about not dating in the workplace.
I agree
well, if
completely.
you date Jennifer
That's
Lopez, she might look pretty with all that duct tape and makeup, but then you also have to deal with the personality. Here's a hint: she's not very nice. So no. They were trying desperately to make her look flattering.
Yeah.
Outside of The Cell, which I think is a great movie, she's never done any. I don't think she's done anything else that I could.
The Cell's
even
good.
tolerate.
Yeah, you're right. I like that movie.
It was more the directing, and
it looked beautiful.
Okay.
So I will give it that. The Cell is a good movie, and it was one of those rare instances where Arrow's release didn't look as good as it could, but I think that had to do with just the source material. But it is a wacky movie. So you see the look on Wiener Boy's face. So that was what I felt when I was watching this entire movie. Like no soul, no nothing. Actually, Rabbi, you've been talking. If he's still here, he keeps talking about movies being made by AI. This is a movie that was made by AI. People don't act like
AI
this.
would do a much better job. I'm sorry. This is way below AI standards.
Well, you say that, could AI create? AI is impressing us in every way, but even AI would struggle to come up with a better ass than this, surely.
No, I've seen it do it many occasions.
The guy that's in this did he produce it? The leading man. Did he produce
so.
this film?
Yes.
Producer and co-writer.
And she did too, probably, I think.
I see. It's really bad casting. He doesn't look like a leading man at all.
Yeah.
He looks like a wiener.
Totally.
The thing about I mean, okay, with me, it's like I'm a rom-com fan. I won't watch everything that comes on Hallmark automatically, but I've seen my fair share of Hallmark movies and of theatrical rom-coms. I actually think the best romantic comedy of the 90s is not While You Were Sleeping, but Only You with Marissa Tomei and Robert Downey Jr. That is a good.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, that's a great.
I really have to check it out. Check it out.
See it without. Don't look at synopses or Wikipedia summaries. Watch it cold, because there's a twist in it that incredibly they gave away in the trailer, unbelievably. But it's a great movie. I think the best rom-com.
In my view, Gary, and there's loads of people in the live chat going, I hate rom-coms. Yeah,
I'm one of them. I hate rom-coms. Well, I can't stand them.
I believe that Richard Curtis largely killed rom-coms as a genre, and it's become something that's impossible to talk about. But actually, when you look back through cinema history, there's a lot of fantastic romantic comedies that are some of the best movies that are ever made.
Like, what's a good romantic comedy? I might agree with you.
When Harry Met Sally.
That's fair. Because I'm looking at this and thinking, I would rather watch two fat lesbians piss on each other.
So I'm curious, Dan. Which one of the two movies do you think killed romantic comedies? Four Weddings and a Funeral or Love Actually? Which one of those two? Because those were both.
No, they didn't kill it. They didn't kill it.
Love Actually is a great movie.
It's not the films themselves. It's not the films themselves. It's it was an abundance of that. For example, Richard Curtis wrote to a formula. And in my view, Four Weddings isn't necessarily a romantic comedy. I think that's a comedy drama movie. But because people fixated on the couple, the real life couple, as well as in the film, it kind of became one. And Notting Hill is a romantic comedy. I would argue that to some degree, Love Actually is, even though there's lots of different couples in that. The rot sort of started there. From that moment on, it seemed that everybody who was in the romantic comedy game, which is every studio really had a slate of these things, started to make variations of that, whether it's casting Hugh Grant alongside Sandra Bullock or Marissa Tomei in 2 weeks' notice, or the one where he plays the novelist who's teaching her at night school.
Drew Barrymore.
They all become, there's one with Marissa Tomei as well. I can't remember but they paired Hugh Grant with everybody first, and then they paired what he wasn't doing, Julia Roberts was doing. So it had this knock-on effect, whereby it contaminated all of romantic comedy for a really long time. But if you look back in the 90s and the 80s in particular, and there's some good ones in the 70s, there are great examples of romantic comedies, and even screwball comedies from the 50s into the 60s. In many ways, they were what we now call romantic comedies. So again, I think that when people say, "Oh, I don't like romantic comedies," what they really mean is that they saw through Richard Curtis's formula, and I think that some of that is definitely in play here, and I think it contributes to the kind of the flat feeling. To it all, because it is. Chris can quite happily, by Chris not seeing the last 20 minutes, I think it's a shame in some respects, because I always finish off movies if I've made it past the hour-long mark.
It takes a lot for me to give up on a movie, Dan. Although that picture that you have on the screen, I would like to just summarize this character. So this is what's her face from that Glow TV series and The Hunt, which was actually a good movie.
Love that.
So this angry looking lady had a baby through artificial insemination because men are crap, which is one of the themes of this movie.
Oh God, I know.
It's So this is if you want to know what kind of ideological direction is behind this. Yes, artificial insemination, men are bad. Dan, it's very rare that I don't finish a movie. It's the last one I can remember that I didn't finish is because I actually got grossed out. It's about a woman that spends the entire movie actually decomposing, and it is gross.
Wait, Chris, did you give up before or after we see the fake AI baby actually pop out of her?
Oh dear God, I forgot about that scene. Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah. So the lady who doesn't like the men has a baby, and we get a close-up shot of the baby coming out. But it is even Rabbi would be grossed out by this crap. Oh no, I witnessed that. But no, the last movie I ended up shutting off it's a movie. I can't remember the name now. It was on Tubi, but it's about a woman who decomposes in real life, and it's just gross. I will finish it. I just didn't have the stomach for it. I would rather watch that than finish this. It takes. I finish almost everything I start. It's like a compulsion, but I had to turn this off because I'm like, this is just awful.
Okay,
what you've said about the flat feel, and I think this is my problem with this film. You're quite right. It does feel very, very flat, as if somebody has just popped a camera in a few rooms and let whatever happens. We get very generic looking shots. It's quite overlit. Yeah. It's a very, but there are moments where it sort of shocks you, either with a visual like that or with saying the C word over and over and over again in one particular scene, which is kind of funny. But it seems moments like that, scenes like that, feel like they belong in another film. And so that's what sort of breaks me out of it a little. And I really want, and I agree with what Ian said. Brett Goldenstein, who's not an ugly man by any stretch, he looks after himself. He doesn't feel like the right kind of lead for, and yet he's good in it. It's a decent enough performance. I just don't feel that he's got a massive amount of charisma. Jennifer Lopez has almost got too much charisma and too much gleam. I think Chris is right again. You could held together with duct tape, and I think that they probably gave her a glow up in post-production. Is the impression that I get.
Well, here's the thing. This movie commits. Of all the cardinal sins that a romantic comedy can commit, this one commits, well, several, but the biggest one is that the two lead actors have no chemistry.
That man couldn't have chemistry with a can of tuna.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying, Chris. If you have a romantic comedy, you can get by with an average script if the two lead actors are charismatic and have chemistry with each other. That can overcome a multitude of sins in romantic comedies, but not here because they have no. Now, Jennifer Lopez, she might be trying to find a new niche in these kinds of
Gary, I think Jennifer Lopez is terrific in this.
Okay, now she did a really good, what I thought was a really good romantic comedy, I think 3 years ago with Owen Wilson called Marry Me, which I thought was really good.
Oh yeah, that was okay. That was okay.
But here it's all about mergers and saving the airline, and it's just like Raunch goes. I'm not a prude when it comes to Raunch. I just don't think that the Raunch in this thing added anything to the movie.
It was half-assed.
Did the Raunch involve Jay?
No. It was just. I mean, it was trying to
shock. Rabbi, I think it was trying to shock us at points. Because this guy, he simply had, and I don't think he would have ever been cast in this had he not written it himself.
Exactly. Can I make 2 points? Point number one is you all keep talking, and I just turned into the Charlie Brown stuff. I'm looking at Jennifer's J-Lo's ass, and it is absolutely incredible, right? That's the first thing I wanted to point out.
Well, it's also made of rubber, so yeah.
I don't care. It's real if you can touch it. That's what I say.
Brett Goldenstein is a comedian and a writer. He was in this film Superbob, which I think he also co-wrote. So this guy, he's been trying to break through for quite a long time now. He was a writer on various TV shows for a time. That part in Doctor Who in 2018, that's where he was paired with Jodie Whittaker for the first time, and doubtless why he chose.
Is that the one with the pregnant dude?
Yeah.
To cast this, it was the one with the pregnant dude. But since 2018, he's gone on to considerably more success in Ted Lasso and Derek. Derek was the sitcom on Channel 4.
I reckon Derek is one of my favorite shows of all time. It's really, I thought taking the piss out of the handicap, so I avoided it. But I watched it, and it is truly, it's much nicer than Ted Lasso, and Ted Lasso is one of the nicest shows ever made. Dan, my second point I want to make is I just had a brilliant idea, right? Talking about rom-coms, right? What is the perfect date movie, right? What's the perfect? Because one of my great fears is I'm doing my legal.
I'll tell you the perfect date movie. You tell me your spiel, and I'll tell you the perfect date movie.
Okay.
7.
So one of my great fears is that I meet the perfect woman, right, and she wants to watch a rom-com with me. I'm like, oh god, that will end the relationship right there. What is the perfect date movie? A sci-fi rom-com, and then we're all good, right? That's all we need. Sci-fi rom-com. I think you could really do well with that.
The Perfect Date movie was made in 1984. It was directed by Robert Zemeckis, and it's called Romancing the Stone.
Oh, you're correct.
You see, hold on. So, Dan, you've got a point there. I always find the best romantic things in movies is underneath the adventure. So, Romancing the Stone is one, in my opinion, a great romance film, and also Grosse Point Blank. I love the romance in Grosse Point Blank. The banter between the two. Between Minnie Driver and John Cusack. Yeah. Brilliant banter. And also, because of the banter and because of what happens to them, you get quite close to those characters. I think that's the key, really. If you decide to make a rom-com, a romantic movie, right, from the get-go, you will struggle to try and avoid all the pitfalls that Richard Curtis has created. Do you know what I mean? So I would say create something that's not a rom-com, but have a really strong romance in there, and do it that way, because that's the only way it would survive, in my opinion. But yeah, what you mentioned, I agree. Totally.
I mean, the sequel was dire, but the original Romancing the Stone was
because the second film was an adventure movie. It was an action adventure movie.
Well, I have the perfect date movie.
What's that?
I would say the Human Centipede Part 2.
No.
On a date under current circumstances.
No, you know what?
If I'm going out with a lady and she suggests that movie, that's it. We're done.
No,
right?
seriously, Rabbi, if you haven't seen it, Ian said he hasn't seen it. Go watch Only You. It's a really
lovely.
good.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Yeah, I want to see it.
Nicolas Cage, that one.
No. It's with Robert Downey Jr. and Marissa Tomei. And so later on in the scene, one of the Spider-Man movies, when the two of them are then sitting on a couch, and but he's Tony Stark and she's Aunt May, I thought of that movie, Dan, because I thought, they were in Only You together, and now they're in the Marvel movie together. You know?
And they were flirting in that, man. Remember that? Yeah.
I watched.
Spider-Man movies are good.
I mean, Office Romance is a very, very bland. Office Romance is a very, very bland title. I actually did watch this with a young lady. We were on the sofa. We got the snacks in. We did. Yes, we made a bit of a night of it. Me and my present girlfriend. So we were watching this, and and for 100 minutes, I'll say this for it. I wasn't looking at my phone. I wasn't checking the time. She was laughing quite a lot, which made me laugh. Film made me laugh in places. I have to say, despite everything that we've said, and I do think this is very, very flat. I think that Brett Goldstein is a decent actor, but isn't right for this. Despite all of that, I really enjoyed watching this. I had a brilliant time watching this. I enjoyed the predictability of it up to a point. But the last half an hour is scene for scene predictable. You know exactly what's going to happen, and so that does test your patience. But I found for the first hour and 10 minutes, whilst I wouldn't describe it as a joy, I found it very, very watchable, particularly if you're on a date, you're doing something of that nature. Some of the comedy, it was amusing rather than funny, I think is the biggest shame of it. That what was propping it up though was Jennifer Lopez is so good in this. She's absolutely brilliant. The last thing I saw her, in my opinion, Chris, the last thing I saw her in was like an action movie, again for Netflix, where she played a kind of a John Wick figure.
Oh God, that was awful.
You know,
Moffat.
different. It was so different to this, and I've not gone out of my way to watch her since. But obviously, the reason why we looked at this was because we looked down the cast list and saw all these Doctor Who people and all these Star Trek people in it, and it amused us the idea that they could all be clustered together. Some of the people that we hate the most in the one film. I think we were almost as surprised to see that as Peter Capaldi was this week when he bumped into Jodie Whittaker, which is in many respects
what a nightmare. Look at that. That look says it all. What did you do to my show?
Yeah.
I would like to underscore that this is at the Spacebook, although we're on the other channel this week. We are not an echo chamber because Dan was brainwashed and liked this movie, and I thought this movie was worse than eating poop. So,
well, yeah. Can I ask you, do you enjoy eating poop?
No, it's an example of things that are terrible.
I want to know from Dan. Dan, what did you throw at the screen during the Jodie scenes?
What did I throw? Well, this is the point. This is the thing. I hate to say this. I thought Jodie Whittaker was bloody good in this.
Because she was in jail and she was a criminal and she was paying for her terrible deeds.
Now, now bear in mind. Bear in mind that since she played the Doctor, even the shows that she was in and movies that she was in that I loved, like Attack the Block and Broadchurch and things like that, Venus, great movies, I've not gone back to any of them because I cannot stand the sight or listen to the voice of this woman.
I know exactly
but because I liked her. She was in Black Mirror for heaven. I love Black Mirror. I can't watch anything. This is the first time I've set eyes on this woman or listened to her voluntarily since she left Doctor Who in 2022. And I think it's clearly been enough time for me because in those earlier roles, I thought she was great. And here again in Office Romance, I actually think she's really, really good. And she's convincing in this part.
This is a role that she can understand, which clearly wasn't the Doctor. You know what? That picture you threw of Peter Capaldi and Jodie Whittaker made me want to write the book, a memorial of the Jodie Whittaker era with that as a cover. I'll call it Ecky Thump, right? When Doctor Who jumped the shark.
By the way, Rabbi, this character, the reason she was in jail is because she had decapitated, I guess, her ex-husband or lover with an axe, like right?
Men are bad.
Yeah. And this is what kind of undoes the plot, really, because the idea is that she's Brett Goldstein's sister in this. So she's in prison, and he's there. He's a lawyer. He's trying to help her. But this is where the plot, my investment was strained. And I wouldn't say I lost interest, but I thought, okay, this is hokum. Because she's a murderess. How's he going to help her exactly? She was happy, and she was happy that she killed this guy. She's reveling in it. She's having a brilliant time in prison. She seems fine with it. So why is this guy trying to get her out when she's a murderess and she loves being in prison? So none of it really hangs together. I think it's poorly thought through. But Jodie Whittaker being there is bad enough. Mary Wiseman is probably the Star Trek equivalent of Jodie Whittaker. Absolutely excruciating as Tilly in Star Trek, not just once but twice. Again, in this, amazingly, I forgot I was watching Tilly. And whilst this character is infuriating, Claire, the receptionist, and Chris is quite right, the stuff she says is revolting. I think she plays the part quite well. I didn't know she'd got this in her because I've never seen her in anything else other than Star Trek Discovery myself. Not just
I have. I saw her in this thing called Baskets. It's a really weird comedy show with by Zach Galifianakis, where he played himself and his twin brother, who desperately wants to be a clown and ends up running a rodeo or working in a rodeo. It's a weird show, but I quite like it.
I mean, she's literally in only about like 4 scenes. I mean, they probably could have filmed her stuff. They could have filmed her stuff in a day or two.
Apparently, this was all made in the filming, the sets. This was made in Britain. This was made in England with minimal filming, and it wasn't filmed in New York. I think a lot of it was made probably using. You said made with AI. I think AI could have played part in this process because all of this stuff was filmed in England. Apparently, I mean, she was in obviously Star Trek Discovery, and she was amazingly even worse in Starfleet Academy.
We wouldn't have believed it as possible, but yeah, she was actually worse. Okay, I think PD Rich put in the chat before a bunch of different things, and I'm imagining them as a mashup movie. Imagine AI making. What did he put in there? It was Ghostbusters. Oh, let me look up in the chat. He had a Ghostbusters, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I mean, and to get that Picard actress in there for literally what 20 seconds of screen time. It's like I don't get that.
Okay, this is how they make TV shows now. It's the same model as how they made low budget features in Hollywood. If you went back 20 years, what they do is they have the basic idea, and then basically they fill each character or each role with known TV stars or known people. So that's exactly what they did with this to actually sell it to Netflix. So you imagine a board meeting, you say, well, we want to make this film. Who've you got the main star? We got Jennifer Lopez. Great. Who else have you got? We've got Tilly from Star Trek. We've got this, we've got that. We've got that guy from Ted Lasso. And then it seems really attractive to Netflix because they know that if you see a person, if somebody's a fan of the last Star Trek film and they see Tilly in it, they'll probably tune in for 5 minutes, and when she's gone, they'll probably tune out, and that's all they need to actually for the content to work on their platform, and that's the reason why it's filled with all these people, even though they're in it for a few minutes. That's why
it's made to appeal to an algorithm, is what you're saying.
What's just sprung to my mind is when you go on a streaming platform, you can tab across by genre, but if you've got favorite actors and actresses, or the algorithm recognizes that you've seen lots of TV shows starring Michelle Hurd, for example, from Picard, it will say, oh, this chick is in that, you might like it too. I've forgotten about that.
That's the reason why that they were all in it, only for a little bit. So that's why they did it. And also the fact that it's got Jennifer Lopez on it, and I'm assuming the last Jennifer Lopez Netflix thing did well, so now she's back, or she's under contract with Netflix for 5 or 6 movies.
I think she's got a deal with him in the way that a lot of people have. This film did reunite her with James. What's his name?
Oh yeah,
James
Edward James
Earl Jones. Yeah, he's sorry, Earl Jones, not him.
James Earl Jones.
No,
Edward James. Edward James almost. Yeah, it's on the tip of my tongue.
He was really good. He was really good in it, actually. Most of the film sucks anyway. Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie American History X? Because that's got tons of Star Trek actors in it. Yeah. It's got Cisco in it. It's got Kez in it. I think there's just tons.
They should have had more scenes like this in the movie, because this was a good scene.
Well, the thing is, right, that this whole movie sucked, in my opinion. It really did suck, and that's the thing about this movie. It really did. Honestly, you could predict. Look, not even the what is it? The bit where he has an erection. Not even that bit made me laugh. I was just sitting there going, "Oh Jesus!" And the bit where he goes, "Yeah, in England we call everybody see you next Wednesday." No, we don't do that in England. We don't do that. I'm sorry. We know how dangerous that word is.
It's because those jokes, those gags, yet again they feel like they belonged in another film. It didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
They were so tonally different from everything else. Usually, I laugh at stiffies in films all the time. I laugh at the C word all the time. Sorry, everybody, I do. I laugh at the C word all the time. It's fine, but in this, it's like, oh, okay, I'm not watching the film that I thought I was watching. It's choppy. It's very, very choppy. And it was nice to see Edward James Olmos. I like this guy. I liked him a lot in Battlestar Galactica in the noughties. He was terrific as a Dharma. Really made that part his own. no mean feat, considering that Lorne Greene had stamped pretty hard on it with all that white hair. I think playing it completely differently in the way that show was so completely different. I think it really, really worked. Apparently, he'd done a film with Jennifer Lopez before. Here they are, 30 years ago, playing again. I think the father and daughter.
Oh, Selena! Yeah, she played that singer who died. Was it?
Oh, right. That's
Selena, not Selena.
No, it's
something like that. Yeah, I've never seen it, but he's been around a really long time, so it's not that surprising that he might have worked with her. So that's very nice. I enjoyed those scenes, and I thought that he was one of the best things in it. I could have stood to see a lot more of him playing a character called Captain Jack, Rabbi, as well. So could that be a Doctor Who reference? I don't know. You never know. Also, for the Doctor Who fans, and this is another name that I recognised instantly. So I always think of Will Sasso as Doctor Who, but I know a lot of people think of this actor because he's gone on to great success in the last few years. In particular, Will Sasso. Yeah, he's in a series. He's in a series called Young Sheldon, which is the Bang Theory.
He's the next door neighbor. He's the next door neighbor.
And I think he's in the spin-off because they've done a spin-off to the spin-off of that now, haven't they? Right. Which is about two of the characters. So I don't follow that, but here is Will Sasso here on what he thinks is a date, which is actually a sort of corporate dinner with Jennifer Lopez. He's good in it. The stuff that he's asked to say is pretty ridiculous. But here he was in the Doctor Who TV movie all the way back in 1996, which we've just been celebrating, of course, on Type 40.
He was one of the faces counting down to 2000.
Well, also, who was in it?
He was the morgue guy.
That guy from Suits, he was in it as well. He was... it's like they just threw everybody at it because they know the algorithm will spike if somebody says, "Oh, is that guy from Suits?" and they watch it. And
right, you're right. He was just in that one scene, though.
Young Sheldon does very, very well. Sheldon does very well on Netflix. So
it's a good show.
You're right that Will Sasso isn't in it because he's in the Doctor Who TV movie. He's in it because he was in Young Sheldon, and it was a big hit for them.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how it works.
Mega Geek Young Sheldon is a great show. I hate the way they ended it. I think I mentioned that before.
I mean, because we knew what happened to the father in Big Bang Theory, it was inevitable that it was going to lead to that, and it was inevitable he was going to go. You know what I mean?
They would have done it the way they did it on Wonder Years, where it just kind of happened sort of off screen. But I kind of see that. But no, it's. Young Sheldon is leagues ahead of Big Bang Theory in every way possible, and somehow it aired between 2017 and 2024. It's by some miracle this show was not woke at all.
Absolutely. And also the fact that it never had a laughter track in it at all. It was very there'd be bits in it where you just giggle and laugh, and there'd be bits in it where you're really sad because of what actually happens with characters. I can't remember there being a laughter. There was no laughter track in Young Sheldon. None.
The new show has a laugh track. The new show isn't as good.
That's spin-off.
The spin-off. Young Sheldon, check it out, especially if you're Gen X, because this was your life. It's not everybody likes it. I will give I will say the movie we reviewed is complete poop, but I recommend Young Sheldon. Great show.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great.
Complete poop. I think that's my next step. Right, I have to say the crackers are creamed, ladies and gentlemen. The crackers are indeed creamed, and I've held out for as long as I can on this piece of shit movie that I didn't see, and I just keep going. Thank God I didn't see this piece of shit movie. So I'm gonna. Mosey on off. It's time for me to do my nighttime routine so I can climb into bed, which includes pooping. Right? All right. Let's see what comes out.
You poop in bed? Don't do it in your backyard behind the shed.
You poop in
I like. Okay. I like a nighttime poop. I like a morning poop. Right? I do. They're the best ones. Yeah. When I was in rabbinical ceremony, when smoking was normal, I used to there was a cubicle with like three toilets. Right? But you could see everybody's feet. I will go in there with a coffee, a cigarette, and the Jerusalem Post, and just sit there and have a dump, smoke a cigarette, and read the paper. Oh God, that was bliss.
With the coffee,
that was the nicest, ladies and gentlemen. What absolute bliss!
We can't. We were talking about TV shows. Now we're talking
don't
about
have
poop.
all
Okay,
that.
Ian, all I'm
great
saying is when they come to make the movie of my life, you got to direct it, right? That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Okay. Right. Right. Okay.
You heard it here, folks. He agreed, right? He agreed. It's too late now. I can't take it back. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm heading off into the sunset. Nighty night, everybody.
Good night.
Have a good one, mate. Yeah, best of luck with that, with the shit. Yeah, well, yeah, he's been sent. His bowels are struggling, even though he hasn't watched Office Romance. I mean, is this the kind of film you'd recommend to people, Ian? I mean, you weren't charmed by it either. Would you recommend people watch this
not at all.
on a rainy night?
It's awful from start to finish. It really is, and it's very woke as well. I mean, even to the point where they have that woman in a wheelchair wheel in for like a couple of minutes.
Oh,
Not
right.
even, no, a couple of
Right.
seconds. It's
Oh,
just
must
the
have
whole
missed
thing
that.
is just woke. The whole thing's just quite right across the big woke. They tried to lift it with humor, but the humor was really awful and not funny. And that bit where he has an erection was stupid, because if you have erection, it wouldn't poke out like a fucking stick, would it? Do you know what I mean? It just looks stupid, you know? Yeah, so the whole thing was just stupid, in my opinion. But I must say that Jennifer Lopez looked freaking gorgeous in this movie. But you can tell they fucked around with her face and made it smoother and all that nonsense. But yeah, she gives in a decent performance. And the guy that was in what is it? What's his name? The father who played the father. He was okay as well. Everybody else was just throwing it in because they're now going to get a paycheck. They were just throwing it in, especially that guy there. He was terrible. He was a bad lead.
Yeah,
He had no charisma whatsoever. He's all right looking, but he's not handsome. He's not a male lead. And because he wrote it doesn't mean to say he should have got the part, as far as I was concerned. So there you go.
He was in Doctor Who, obviously, for about 10 minutes tops. At it, arguably, its worst, well, one of several scrapings of the bottom of the barrel that happened on Doctor Who. And it wasn't a particularly memorable performance in that either. It's just that there was so little masculinity in Doctor Who in that series. But I thought he was quite good compared to the rest of the cast. Yeah, that was the one with the pregnant man and the pating and all that stuff.
He was very masculine in Ted Lasso, though. You know, he was very much, you don't mess with him and stuff like that. So he had a good character in Ted Lasso, and also became one of the most popular characters in Ted Lasso as well. I think I said season 1 and 2, and that was about it, really. But I can't talk for the other seasons. But Ted Lasso is a great show. Especially season 1. I think season 2 kind of went a bit off the road, but yes, there's that wonderful scene. I don't know if anybody's seen Ted Lasso on here, but there's that wonderful scene when he takes on I call him Giles, you know, the guy that was in Buffy who died recently. Yeah, they were playing darts in the pub, and there's a wonderful scene with the darts thing. I won't give it away, but check it out. It's a very good show as far as I was concerned.
Yeah. Chris, you've clearly had a bad time with this. Would you be surprised to learn it's been #1 on the Netflix charts now for 2 weeks?
No, I would not, Daniel, because using my country as an example, people are idiots. But I would not recommend this film. I'm sure you're all surprised to hear that, unless you want to know what 2 hours of complete and utter misery feels like. And anything else you experience, at least that week, will seem good by comparison. And if you want to desensitize yourself to hell, this is a great idea for that. And if this is the best Netflix can do, dear God. So that's I would like to thank Dan for my journey into hell.
Every Netflix show that comes out is always #1. You have to question this. You have to question this.
That's true.
Well, no, it's #1 because people saw the list of individuals that are in this. Like, oh, I'm going to watch this. What is the watch time, Netflix? How many people turned off after that baby birthing scene? Because Jesus Christ, I can't unsee that. I cannot unsee that ever.
Every show I've watched recently has basically slammed men. Every one of them, every TV show, every movie so far. I'm really tired of that.
Let's not forget the complete joke they made of Bradley Whitford. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh well, never mind.
Yeah, there are other
Unrecognizable.
things. Anything is good. But now that we've scraped the bottom of hell, it's all up from here.
Yeah.
I would not recommend this movie. I mean, J-Lo, as I said, looks great. I think it's flatly shot. As Ian said, it's flatly written. The actors have no chemistry. And if you want to see a much better recent J-Lo romantic comedy, go watch the one from a couple years ago. I think it was called Marry Me with Owen Wilson.
Oh yeah, it was okay.
Great chemistry. It's more of a simple movie. You buy the premise. In this one, we're supposed to buy the fact that she's the one, when her dad was running it, it was one plane. She's the one who took it to be like this multinational thing with a lot of planes, international, and yet the board still doesn't respect her. I don't think so. So the writing on this was really just kind of iffy, and all the raunch just, to me, served. There was no point to all the
again, right? This horrible cancer is spreading through our entertainment, and this is a prime example of that. All the men are stupid or daft or do stupid things. The women are powerful and strong, especially that one that's having the CGI baby. It's ridiculous. The whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. And after watching it, I just thought to myself, wow, this is where we're going. If this is where we're going, I feel sorry for men in the future. If they're all being primed to be sissies and stupid and told that they're stupid, well, good luck to them all. That's what I say. Thank God I wasn't born in this generation.
It could have been worse. They could have cast Shooty Gatwa.
I'm the only one who enjoyed this on any level at all.
Well, you're entitled to your opinions.
I mean, like, I like the Resident Evil films.
Jennifer Lopez is gorgeous to look at.
I found it surprising. I was expecting a very, very bland film. I think Office Romance is a terrible title. I was unconvinced when I saw Brett Goldstein was the lead. I thought, why? And I still feel that way now. But I think it was quite well written. I thought it was quite well written myself. I thought Jennifer Lopez was excellent in it. I thought Mary Wiseman was good. I thought Jodie Whittaker was good in this. So I thought this was average, slightly better than average romantic comedy, the kind of filler for a date night or whatever. I put, in my view, this wasn't woke. I view it as largely harmless. So whilst it isn't something I would go out of my way to recommend to anybody, I think that if you have got a night in, you're struggling to work out between you with company, what you want to watch, you could do a lot worse than this. And it's fine. I've seen, again, with Netflix films, I wouldn't go out of my way to watch a Netflix film either. Yeah. I've seen some that I've really enjoyed, some that I haven't, and this one is firmly in the middle of that pack. I think it's, well, I haven't seen a Netflix film in a while, and so it was tighter than some of the films that I've seen. But because it was the last 20 or 30 minutes is ridiculously predictable, and so I can't really kill that. I can't really go overboard with that because it's simply reverted to textbook romantic comedy tropes. So,
but just the last 30 minutes, the whole film was predictable from start to finish, right across the board. It's again.
This isn't a film that taxed my intelligence or my imagination, but I didn't. There were things that happened in it which I didn't see coming, connections I hadn't worked out. Of course, after they happen, I think, oh yeah, of course. But at the time, I'm enjoying the feel of it, the flow of it, and Lopez in particular does sort of really bolster this thing up. It's fine. It didn't keep me guessing like The Usual Suspects or anything like that, but I've certainly seen a lot more predictable than this, and that's why I felt the last 20, 30 minutes was such a letdown, because it did revert exactly to type. I think they could have done a lot better with it. Had it had a distinctive director who could have looked at those scenes that really jarred and made it feel a lot more even, gave it a bit of punch. Ideally, I don't want to be too down on Brett Goldstein because I think he was fine. He just isn't the lead. Yeah. So I think that this could have been really good with slightly better casting. I think Lopez probably got it because she's on a deal with Netflix. And again, as good as she is in this, she is like 15 years older than Brett Goldstein, and it does show. So and that's why they haven't got any chemistry. Because
and can we call please a moratorium in Hollywood and really internationally on having everybody in the room clap when the couple kisses at the end? Can we just call a moratorium on that? Because I've seen that 5,000,004 times, and
that's a lot of time.
That's as bad as the slow clap. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Office romance, everybody. That's
Watch out,
not the average way that we would finish our coverage of the cancellation crisis of Doctor Who in this last week or two.
With Office romance.
Actually, Dan, this makes sense because nobody cares about Doctor Who anymore. So yeah, we might as well just cover something else. Everybody else went on to something else years ago. And yes, I will say I would rather watch Office Romance than ever watch Dr. Nutty prance around in his dress.
In a way, though, Chris, this qualifies as a Doctor Who film, right? Because Jodie Whittaker was in it.
Yeah, and she was behind bars, and so that I will say it was good. It was nice to see Jodie get her penance for what she did. Justice for Peter Capaldi.
Yeah.
We still have the memories of when the show was good. If you can't take solace in that, we still have the classic series, largely, of course, on Solid. And maybe you're not a classic series fan. Well, you've still got the Doctor Who icons. We've still got the TARDIS and the Daleks. At least they didn't go woke, did they? I don't think they did. So it's not much to cling to here, but it's something. It's something.
Yeah.
Thank you for being part of this, guys, and the whole coverage that we've done at Type 40 over the last week or two, and everything that's going on at the Spacebook as well, because it's all in the mix somewhere. As always, Chris, I'm not sure what I should send you in Canada by way to coax your forgiveness from your soul in time.
Don't send me anything, Dan. Authoritarian laws came into effect yesterday.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So I think even making fun of this movie is a hate crime in my country, actually, because they actually did take away our freedoms yesterday. Go Canada! No. I would once again like to thank the Boomers for electing the Emperor, and I would also like to thank the Conservative members who decided to jump over to the Emperor's party, giving him a majority, which resulted in him taking away our free speech yesterday. So thank you very much for that. So as of what's coming forth, everything's on fire. We're in hell. I'm in hell. You might not be in hell, or you might be in a different kind of hell. As of what's coming back, I was thinking of making a video about Office Romance, but then that would involve me having to revisit Office Romance. And I decided I really don't want to visit Office Romance. But another thing that my friend Dan and I are different views on is, as I said last week, I've officially declared war on Millie Alcock. So I will be covering that train wreck in a few weeks. Will
you get arrested for doing that, though, Chris? Because of the laws that
I am going to hide my voice. Just a sec.
Hide your voice.
Yeah, you need a voice modulator, Chris.
Do this, and they will have no idea it's me because my voice is altered, and I will make fun of Millie Alcock and her movie, which is not going to do very well because she said stupid things, and then I'll be arrested. But it was nice knowing you all. But I'm sure that talking like this, they will completely understand that it is not me. I'm actually an AI. I never existed in the first place. I programmed myself back in 2007, and you've been talking to a computer this whole time.
Wait, Chris.
Wait. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Dan. I had to give an update before I forget.
Wait. Before we go, Chris, is this true? Richard Brooks asked in the chat. He says that mentioning Canada at all is a hate crime now. Is that true?
Pretty much. Okay. We can't talk about anything, but I can give you an update if you want to put me on the screen, because I did promise an update this week. So Frank's life is now definitely in danger. The pigs have had more than enough of his crap. So the pigs are now plotting revenge on Frank. They're just deciding how they want to do it. And you can see Frank is completely oblivious to what's about to happen with his stupid safety violation pitchfork. So if you look at the pigs on the side, this is not going to end very well for Frank. And, you know, I think our thoughts have to be with the pigs, because Frank is an idiot. Like, you know, he's a cokehead. Of course he's an idiot. So something very bad is going to happen to Frank at the hands of the pigs. Because look at those pigs. Those are not happy pigs. And pigs are usually very happy animals. It takes a lot to piss off a pig, but somehow Frank managed it. So I guess we'll find out in a few weeks Frank's fate and what exactly the pigs are going to do to Frank. And it might be a pig revolution, but hey, I'd bring on the pig revolution. Things can't get any worse, unless, of course, I am completely silenced over the course of the next week under Canada's new law, in which case we'll never find out what happens to Frank. But whatever it is, I'm sure it won't be good. But Satan is still chasing Frank for, you know, just being Frank. So as long as Satan is chasing Frank, Satan can't end the world. But now the pigs, I guess, have allied with Satan. I didn't see that coming, but you know, who would have seen the state of my country ever happening 10 years ago, and that free speech would be over. So, yay, goat curry. Well, they might do that. I don't know what they're going to do to Frank. It's going to be horrific, because Frank has had this coming for a long time. We've all been following the misadventures of Frank for like 2 years now. So at some point, this has to come to an end. Isn't it? So
they need to reboot. You know what? They need to reboot Babe. It's about time for that.
I thought you were going to say reboot, Frank.
No. He's talking about pigs. I was thinking, well, Babe, you know, like that'll do, pig. Yeah. They need to reboot that.
No, because Babe would go woke, and Babe is having none of that.
Babe is a sexist term now, probably, I would say. It's
everything is in my country.
Yeah. It's enough to, you know, some people are like, they'll lose their heads over just about everything, wouldn't they? They did it. Okay.
Oh, man.
Yes, so the word for now is cancelled. No, we can't say cancelled either, according to the BBC and Russell T Davies. The word is tender. So we're waiting on the tender offer and details of that, which we'll know what we know when they want us to know it. In the meantime, I'm quite happy to just tender one DVD to my player after another and remind myself why I love Doctor Who in the first place, and to forget about them completely, forget about them totally as well, and to side with these guys, or most of them, for the most part, side with these guys, and remember why I loved the new series originally. So we're here. We're on the other side.
Yeah, it's not canceled. It's just on indefinite hiatus.
Oh no! Don't get too salty, everybody. Type 40. We'll still be covering it, whether they like it or not. There's always something to talk about. Thank you, as ever, to Charlotte Shields, who this was her idea. And she, Charlotte. I don't know if she's still in the chat or not, but thank you anyway to Charlotte. Of course, always thank you to Charlotte and everybody else on the various strands of Type 40, to David, to Luke, everybody involved, to Simon, everybody. So yes, we've been through it to the bitter end. It's just the end that we thought was coming at Christmas is actually already here. So Christmas has come early in some respects after all, Ian, and obviously it's always great to have you come back as well.
It's good to be here. Ha ha ha.
Good to be here. He says, dropping the Star Trek. Of course, Star Trek back in a few weeks' time. We've got a brand new season of Strange New Worlds and some Star Trek anniversaries to celebrate as well over on our sister show. So there's all of that coming up, but there's lots more, proper Doctor Who to talk about as time moves on. Gary, this has been, I wouldn't say it's been a privilege to cover, because the cancellation, the tendering, because it's quite an involved subject in some respects. But the truth of it, at the heart of it, is actually quite simple, isn't it? And I think that what we've attempted to do is to try and keep those waters as clear as possible for ourselves as we are gaslit by the usual players, but also for the people in the live chat there, YouTube and Rumble, and the people interacting on Facebook and X as well. It's just to keep things clear and us cited on what the actual truth is, because we do live in the anti-truth world. And I think if there's a word that I certainly would like to think that this content will always be attached to whatever people think of us. We are authentic in our views and in the way that things are offered in an editorial way and reported on. And you've been an integral part of that, not just this evening, but over the last few weeks and months as well. I couldn't have done it without you. So thank you so much. Well,
you are more than welcome. It's been an absolute honor to be, on all of this. I actually think that if you count the show today, so we, like the last 5 shows, 6, if you count the one from many weeks ago that basically kind of started this whole ball rolling, I actually think set the standard for coverage of this. I think this is the go-to. You gave us well-documented, well-presented, well-researched breakdowns of every step of this. No speculation, no clickbait, no nothing, just straight on presentation. I think this is the gold standard of coverage of the, are we calling it a cancellation crisis? So I think, I appreciate you're very welcome. I'm glad to be here, but it's all thanks to you, because you really kind of steered the ship for the last few weeks on all this.
The update came, as was teased by Russell T. Davies, on the future of Doctor Who, and that's where we're going to leave that for now. Obviously, we'll pick up on what we need to whenever we need to, either for casual conversations like this, where we throw caution to the wind, where no holds are barred, or on the tighter, more sensible-ish, level-headed coverage. So make sure you stay right where you are. Check that you're still subscribed, because we know that YouTube can be funny like that. They don't like us very much. And hit the cluster bell to get all your notifications on our notifications about their notifications. That'll be how it works. There's Type 40 Live, of course, Rumble, X, YouTube, and Facebook. That's still continuing as well, with the focus on, truth, authenticity, and evergreen content, as well as keeping an eye on what's going on. But let's get back to the things that we love. The people we appreciate it because they appreciated us. That's very much how I'm looking at it, Ian, is that this is a time to cleanse the palate, I suppose. And not just with Doctor Who, but there must be decent entertainment out there somewhere. Well, I know there is. I think things are recovering from the woke era. It's just that Doctor Who, sadly, has been taken out. It didn't just fall at the last hurdle. It's been falling at every hurdle for a long time now. So a little time away is not going to do it or us any harm.
They'll probably bring it back and it'll be even worse. Knowing our luck.
Thank you for coming back and talking about this, Ian. I really do appreciate it. We're going to coax you back for more Saturdays when you can. We'll keep you in the loop as always. Thank you again to the Rabbi from Another Planet. If you don't know where to find him by now, you never will. On YouTube, live streaming most days about all manner of topics, kind of the way he was on this show, really. So we'll go from here to there, to there, and to that. And so you have to keep a sharp mind and a tuned sense of humor as well to get on board with the various things, the various topics that the Rabbi will cover. So it's the links in the description. Go knock yourself out with that. Chris, your video last week did brilliantly, I understand. You did drop a video about all of this, didn't you?
Yes, it made all the right people mad, and that makes me happy.
There you go.
You're going to get arrested. You're going to get arrested.
No, I put up the video before the law banning all fun went into effect. Until they make it retroactive, in which case we're all screwed.
It's going to get a ring modulator on the go, just like Nick Briggs uses. Charlotte is still here.
She is.
Thank you, chat, for being here, for the craziness. Plus, look forward to my payback on Dan. So that's 2 paybacks coming my way. What's your Star Trek show? Asks Julie Coonan. It's called Warp Drive, and it's over on our sister channel, The Spacebook. So go and check that out. You can catch our reviews of the entirety of Series 1, Season 1 of Starfleet Academy. Yes, we did that.
What a time it was.
Never to be forgotten. So you can go and binge those by all means. There's actually about 50 episodes of Warp Drive over there and a couple of live streams as well over on the Spacebook channel. So go and check that out. Strange New Woke, says PD Rich. We've got various buys and things like that. So thank you, everybody. Lance says it's not dead. It's just lying down and resting its eyes. There we are. That's what Pete McTighe was trying to get at. He just used about 500 words to say it. And we've got Atty Time. That's Mr. Matt in the live chat. Says this has been traumatic to cover. No, just kidding. It's been refreshing. The show, indeed, the IP is moving forward by not being on, not annoying people. And Matthew, thank you, Matthew. Matthew says balanced coverage. We've genuinely tried. Obviously, we can't be impartial. Nobody's impartial. But when we have biases, we're really quite open about what they are, and it's left to the viewer, the listener, to therefore come to their own conclusions. Hopefully, they've got an idea of the sort of people that we are. All of us are authentic here on all the various shows, and hopefully that will stand for itself. So thank you, everybody, for all the comments. Much appreciated. And yeah, we are officially on the other side. If you want more, if you want to hear some of it again, some of our heresies are in the playlist there. There's every edition of Type 40 Live. There's a Type 40 extra playlist as well. So more live streams like this and various videos of lots of different lengths with all the different people, all the different voices that you see across all the different Type 40 strands as well. So go and check out Type 40 Extra in the playlists and the Type 40 podcast across all major podcatchers, lots of reviews, interviews, previews, geek outs, and deep dives, all major podcatchers, and our home feed, type40.podbean.com. Physical media nights on their way back on the Spacebook channel too. I think we have a show and tell on the way, but not the kind of things that we're showing and talking about in Office Romance. We won't be showing any childbirth or anything of that nature. We're going to keep it to our Blu-rays, our DVDs, Chris, and lots of retro talk. And yeah, that'll be how that rolls.
Yes.
We're exhausted. We're spent, everybody. But thank you for holding the course, I suppose, with us. What a great conversation, fabulous show. Thank you for being here, everybody, and all of those in the live chat, including Power Ranger Donny, who's just ducked in from watching the World Cup. You're going to go back and listen to us now, Donny, aren't you? And yeah, forget about the World Cup. They're all overpaid, and all that's proper sport. Now, I don't do any of that, Ian. I don't do any of that. I'm going to go and watch something that will make me laugh now. Hopefully laugh a lot more than Office Romance. How about you? What are you going to be doing?
I'm going to be watching Office Romance 2, whatever it's called. No, I'm going to be watching that rubbish.
I gave him a good recommendation. He needs to go watch.
I'm gonna seek that one out. Definitely seek it out.
I'm going to watch Young Sheldon and Ted Lasso. I think now that Chris says that Young Sheldon, because I'd avoided that. I assumed it was terrible because most
it's not. It's great from the first episode up till the first 5 seasons are great. It falls off a little bit in the end, but
if you're Gen X, you will love this show.
Yeah, it got a bit when he got older. It got a bit slightly not funny.
He aged out of the role. That was the problem.
He did.
And they should have ended it at season 5, but even with that, they kind of diminished him a little bit in the last 2 seasons and focused on the other characters, which was fine. I don't like the way they ended it, but I understand why they did. But no, if you have not seen it, I highly recommend it. It is a brilliant show, and it is not woke. Somehow it came out during peak woke, and there was not a single woke episode.
Also, if you're a geek like me, you understand all of the jokes that Sheldon was involved with, from the Star Trek jokes straight across to every other comic book stuff that he mentions in there. So yeah.
Yep, it is literally aimed at us.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Good.
Yeah.
I do recommend
all
of those recommendations then.
Yeah, I do recommend Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso has a huge heart, especially the main character. You know, he's let's just say he is kind. That's the thing, and it's very rare to get a character like that on TV, especially these days. That's actually kind. So
has that show finished, or is it?
It's finished. I think it's coming back. It's coming back because everything gets woked in the end. I think he's coming back to coaching. a woman's football team. I can't remember. I don't know what's going on. I don't care. So I enjoyed what I saw of it. So there you go.
As long as Rabbi casts it.
Thank you everybody for joining us on this set of shows, and there'll be more where that came from, all in due course, I don't doubt. So keep it here at Type 40, where we always have the time. If you have the space, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next time, wherever and whenever. Bye bye.